Way too often we receive splashes of beautiful colors on a canvas that captivates us with information that does nothing but hinder our thought process. The world sees a bunch of beautiful colors and automatically calls it a painting. We are bringing the world a masterpiece, a canvas with beautiful colors, shapes, and figures. We call it art, you call it Hunters TV. Welcome to Hunters, the show where we
force you to dream big, force you to master your reality, and force you to feel powerful.
I'm James.
I'm Boadi.
And I'm Shaka, Ptah.
Today we'll be talking about the importance of breaking your limitation barrier. So once somebody realizes that they're powerful, they tend to want to see how far their power reaches, right? How limitless the human body actually is. Think about it in terms of Spider-Man. We've all seen and can relate to Spider-Man. When he was bitten by that spider, he ended up realizing that he could jump higher. He had this web that came out of his wrist. And when that web came out of his wrist, he was able to connect to other buildings and swing, right? And also he was able to web bad guys, the villains, right? So Spider-Man essentially went from being a human to superhuman once he realized that he was powerful. Put that into context with us, once we realize that we're limitless, we go from human to superhuman, right? So that right there in a nutshell is what we're going to be talking about today.
And I honestly love the Spider-Man analogy that you gave. I feel like as people, just like you just said, as you realize how powerful you are, you have to test your limitations.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because how far you can go determines the power that one carries. You know what I mean? So we felt like it was very important to do a show talking about testing your limitations once you've realized how powerful you truly are as a human being.
Boadi, when did you break your limitation barrier?
Funny story actually. So I want to say about 6 months ago, or even maybe a little longer. What we did was we gave one of our best friends, he came to us, and he's a kid with a lot of potential.
Yeah.
And we kind of wanted to push him a little bit because sometimes he has all this potential, but sometimes it's all wasted. You know what I mean? We kind of want to push him a little bit, so we hit him up and we're like, listen, what we want you to do is we gave him a push-up challenge because he hated push-ups. Hated push-ups. So we're going to force you to push yourself a little bit. So we gave him a push-up challenge, and we're like, what we want you to do is we want you to do 1,000 push-ups or less. 1,000 push-ups. We wanted him to do 1,000 push-ups in a week.
In 7 days. Start on Monday and don't stop.
Now he was when he heard this, he was like, no, this is ridiculous. This is kind of crazy. Y'all the push-up kings. That's something that y'all like to do, which we're really not, but that's how he liked to put it. But anyway, so we gave him this contest, and he started doing it, and then he got to a point where he wanted to kind of give up on himself. So he hit us up and he gave us this whole talk about how he knew who he was, so he didn't need a push-up challenge to kind of reinforce that.
When did he say that?
He said that. And the reason why we didn't take that too well is because he said that like the last day of the challenge.
So it was Sunday at like 3 p.m.
Yeah, it was like Sunday at like 3 p.m.
He got all the way to
and how many did he have left?
I think he had 250 left.
He had like 250 left, and I'm just looking. I'm talking to him on the phone. I'm like, listen, man, you just went all this way. It's kind of like running a 100-meter dash, getting to the 90th meter, and just stopping. You know what I mean? And he wanted to rationalize what he was doing because he knew that he was better than that.
Yeah.
So to kind of encourage him and to kind of motivate him to finish, what me and James did was we were like, okay, we're gonna set up a challenge for ourselves. Now, when we gave him 1,000, we knew it was a great feat because we knew what he was capable of, and we thought 1,000 was crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was talking to him and I was like, yo, we need to plan like a whole day where we just gonna do 1,000 push-ups.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I went to him and I was like, it was a Sunday afternoon, and I was like, you know what we're gonna do is we're gonna do 500 push-ups tonight, right? So we said it, and I was just like, all right, let's
When
do
he
it.
said
Let's get it
that,
done.
side note, when he said that, I'm thinking in my head, this man, he's really wild. Like,
At that point, we were all about testing our limitation. That's what our whole lives were. It was like a 2-week or a 3-week time span where we were just all about testing our limitations.
Right.
So when I brought the idea to him, he had no choice but to say, yeah, let's go. So we hit it, and we started doing 1,000 push. And what we did was we did different variations. We did 10 different variation push-ups, and the point was, as I go, I pick the next set. So the point was to try to break the other person.
Yeah.
Now, long story short, we're on the last 100, right? And when I tell you, I had nothing left. Nothing left.
What push-ups he did?
It was
Thought I had
it was sheer willpower. So now I have nothing left. I know I got a whole 100 to go. And I'm sitting there, and James is like, all right, we're going to do clapping push-ups, explosive clap push-ups. Now, if you guys don't know what explosive clap push-ups is, just YouTube it. You know what I mean? But, so I'm like, damn, like, I'm not like, this is going to break me.
Yeah.
So I'm doing it, and I'm killing myself. And I'm at a point where I just freeze. How many did I have left when I got?
He did about 40 in a row, because the whole purpose of the challenge was to do 100 in a row.
In a row.
Yeah.
So you can't stop.
Stop. Yeah.
You have to do that 10 times.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm in push-up position, and my body's touching the ground, and everything in me, every single fiber of my being, is just screaming, "Give up! Like, you've done enough." You don't gotta prove nothing to nobody. Like, you've done enough. The same thing our friend was saying, I found myself saying. And I'm just looking at the ground, and it's like everything just went dark and silent. And I was just staring at the ground. I just picked a spot on the ground, I was just staring at it. And a voice came into my head, and it was just like, who are you? And from that moment, strength came out of nowhere that I didn't know existed. Like, out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, I just started going berserk. Just doing these rah.
Like,
explosive
literally
push-ups.
yelling at the top of his lungs.
Like, yelling at the top of my lungs. And at that moment, it took for something like that to force me to ask myself, who are you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because at that point, it was more than just push-ups. At that point, it became who I was. It became a test of my character. You know what I mean? And you could lie to people, you could front, and you could try to be somebody that you're not. But the person that you really can't lie to is yourself, no matter how much you try to rationalize it. So in that moment, it was like, yo, this is what's gonna make or break you. And I feel like that's when I broke through that barrier. And it was amazing, because after I broke through it, I felt like I could conquer the world. You know what I mean? Because this was something that I thought was an impossible feat. This was something that I thought we would have to do in the whole time span of a day. And we got it done in, like, I want to say we got it done in like 2 hours.
No, not even. Literally 45 minutes. That's total.
Yeah.
And
That's total, 45 minutes.
And that moment right there was what, I always knew that I was a limitless being. But that moment proved it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like till this day, it's just that question. You know, when things get tough, who are you?
Do you feel like did you face a similar situation?
Yes. And
Your push-ups. How many were you in?
No, actually, the reason why I felt like I really had them is because my last 100 he gave me, I forgot what they were, but the last 100 he gave me, I won't say that I breezed by them.
Yeah.
But
he was feeling good.
I was feeling good. I was feeling good. And I got done, and I was like, yo, I got them.
Yeah.
But to further touch on kind of like what he was saying, it was kind of like, literally, when we got done, we did 1,000 push-ups in 45 minutes collectively, right? Not each, collectively. So after we did the 1,000 push-ups, me and him literally walked down the steps. It was like, yo, I could do more.
Yeah.
So it kind of brings home the point that your body is limitless. You feel me? Everything is up here, right? So if you want to put limitations on yourself, like our friend did, listen, I don't want to do the 1,000. So
either way, you're right.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Either way, you're right.
Exactly.
So as for me, how I realized that I broke my limitation barrier. It was kind of like a two-part. It's kind of like a two-part story, I would say. I have never been the fastest guy, the most athletic person.
He has not.
No, I haven't. But when I was in 8th grade, I lived in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
So for 9 months, 6 out of the 9 months, I could only speak to my family because I did not understand Spanish, right? So my one opportunity to relate to everybody was field day, right? So, mind you, I am not the fastest person. So I tell my father, hey, listen, Dad, we're having field day today. Come watch me. Now my dad, he's known me for what, 12, 13 years by now? Right. So I'm like 12, 13, and he says, James, you never put your all into anything.
I really imagine him saying, James, you're not very fast.
Yeah,
I really thought it that way.
Essentially.
Oh, okay.
Essentially. But it was more than me not being fast.
Yeah.
It was me not putting my all into sports. Because my father always knew that when it came to books, I put my all into that. But when it came to sports and activities, and kind of like what he was saying, testing your strength, I didn't do it. I would always curl, fold up, all of that. So I told my father when I realized that he wasn't going to come, I was like, Dad, I'm going to come home with a medal, right? So my whole purpose that day was to come home with a medal. Mind you, everybody saw me as the Black American, right? So they thought I had wheels on me. They thought I had wheels on me. So right, they stood there and they had me being the anchor, right? The guy in the back. So now I could put the team on my back. Yes. It was not. And the whole thing about that was I had to tell myself, listen, I had 2 chances. So we had 2 races, right? It was I'm not a track athlete, but I think it was a 4 by 100 and 1 by 4. Let's just call it that, right?
It's a 4 by 1 in a 100.
Yeah. So basically, the 2 races were we ran around the whole track once, passed the baton to 3 other people.
It's 4 by 4.
Okay,
Yeah, I got you.
And then the other one was we split the track into 4s, right? Into quarters. Okay, there you go. So those were the 2 races, right? Those were my 2 opportunities. They had their anchor both times. So they had me an anchor both times. So when they passed these batons off, and I was the last person, I had to tell myself, James, you have no choice but to win. But to win. And when I tell you, I ran like I had fire on me. I ran like the cops was chasing me. And I'm telling you, I'm gone. I'm gone. And I'm telling you, it was good enough that day. It was good enough on that 8th grade day in Puerto Rico. And I ended up going back home with 2 medals.
Nice.
So there were 2 third-place medals, but they were good enough for me to get medals. And that's all that mattered to me because I have never won anything in sports up to that point. And to go home and show my father, hey, Dad, I told you I was not only going to bring home 1 medal, but I actually brought home 2 medals. And I still have those medals to this day because they mean a lot to me. So that right there was the first time I realized I broke my limitation barrier. The second time, because that was all in my subconscious, it just made me feel better about myself, right? But thinking about this most recent event was I stopped going to college, right? So when I stopped going to college, I had to tell myself, hey, listen, I do not want to move back to Philadelphia. Do not want to move back to the hood. So what I had to do was I had to work at Amazon, right? So I spent about 3 months working at Amazon. And during the 3 months, the first month and a half, I spent a lot of money. So I was getting money every week, spending it, right? And I was just like, yo, like, I need to slow down. I need to examine my life. And I need to really, really put my mind to, like, everything and realize that I am not going to go back to Philly. That is not an option. And 6 weeks, I saved up $3,000. He could attest to that. I saved up $3,000 in 6 weeks. How? I lived on $20 on gas.
Nah, he really did.
I literally lived on $20 in gas, right? To get from here to Amazon. Amazon was an hour away from my house. Now, I also lived on $22 on food for a week, right? So that's
ramen noodles, baby.
Listen. Like, literally, I put myself to the extreme of the extremes. Like, and I had to. I had to put my mind on this crazy cerebral focus mode.
There'll be times when we all like we be eating real food.
Yeah.
But like, yo, James, like, you want a piece of chicken?
And I said no.
Rice and beans?
And I said no because every morning I had a bowl of cereal for lunch. Every day for lunch, whether I was working or not, I had 2 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Yeah. And every night I had 2 packs of oodles and noodles, ramen noodles. Locked in. Like when I say locked in, like they were offering me chicken, like, James, have some real protein.
No.
And I'm like, no, I'll take my oodles and noodles. I'll take my ramen noodles.
Chicken flavor.
That's protein enough. And the only reason behind that was because I did not want to deviate from my goal, right? Yeah. Because if I have chicken today, tomorrow I'm going to want to have the real thing. Exactly. And in 6 weeks, I lost between 12 and 15 pounds. My friends were looking at me, it was just like, right.
Skin Bone Jones.
Yes, Skin Bone Jones. My friends were looking at me, was like, James, like, you look sick. And I was like, but my pockets are. Right? But my pockets are.
Pockets a little healthy.
And I saved, I have it right here. I saved $3,000 in 20s, and this right here, I will always keep this because it's a constant reminder that I am limitless. And I saved that much money, and I was able, after 6 weeks and losing 12 to 15 pounds, to say, yo, listen, I will never move back to the hood. I will always have my own spot from here on out. And that was a big turning point.
That barrier again. I can never go back on the other side. Right. Is that how it made you feel?
Yes. Because I realized that I was superhuman. I realized, I realized I was superhuman. Yeah. And in me realizing I was superhuman, there was nothing that was going to take away my superpowers. Yeah. There was literally nothing that could happen to take away my superpowers. And that right there is what made me realize that I was limitless.
So, can you give a person watching this today basically a guideline on how to break through the barrier?
For me, like I said, I feel like for everybody it's going to be a little different. You know what I mean? Because we all come from different situations and different lifestyles. For me, it took a question. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? For James, it took his father not wanting to come to his spectacle. Yeah. And it also took him realizing that, you know what, I really don't want to go back to this place. Yeah. So sometimes I feel like, all the time, I feel like this holds true across the board. I feel like somebody has to feel like they're pushed in a corner. Yeah. And you're given 2 choices. Either you break the barrier in front of you, or you crumble in this little corner. You know what I mean? It's that simple. Yeah. It's that simple.
So you think the easiest way is when you're pushed to the extreme?
I feel like I feel like that's what gets us. Because if I'm comfortable my whole life, why do I need to break barriers?
There is no barrier.
You know what I mean? There are no barriers to be broken. Okay. So I feel like when we're put in spots where we're very uncomfortable, we're put in spots where we have to do or not do. You know what I mean? The choices are that simple. That's when you figure out, you know what, this is what I'm made of. And the crazy thing is, people break barriers all the time. You know what I mean? A single mom raising 3 kids all by herself, she's breaking multiple barriers. You know what I mean? And people gotta realize that. Because you're over here, you exhibiting all these limitless qualities. You gotta embrace them, and you gotta take it into you gotta know that you're limitless.
Consciously understand that you're breaking barriers when you do it.
Right. So, what you think, James?
Man, basically what you said, man. Listen, the way you realize that you're gonna have to break a barrier is by a simple choice, a simple decision. Henry Ford said it best: whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. That's it.
So it's a mental thing. That's really what I'm getting.
That's it.
And then a lot of times your experience will force that mental growth.
Yes.
There you go.
Yep. And I feel like that's something that I want people to take away from this. This first segment, at least, is there comes a point everybody gets stuck in these spots, and sometimes you just have to either break through them, or you gotta let the situation crumble you. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's the power that we have as human beings, because we get to make that choice. And that choice becomes everything, and it sets the tone for the rest of our lives. So with that being said, we're gonna wrap up with the segment. And the next segment, you know, we always have to have our guests for the next segment. We'll be introducing you guys to a great guy, absolutely great guy that's doing huge things and breaking many barriers in his life. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Thank you. Welcome back to Hunters TV. We have a special guest with us today. His name is Willie White. He also goes by Jay Weathers. Thanks for coming here, man. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you for having me, brother.
So, tell us a little bit about yourself. What you do?
Alright, first off, guys, my name is Willie White. I'm 23 years old. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. But technically, for the past 10 years, I've been in Pennsylvania, so I like to say I'm from PA. Right now, I just became an official actor. I'm also, for the past year and a half, been running a business that's been actually producing the lifestyle that I'm able to live right now. And it's opened up the window for me to create great music and great content my way. And that's actually where I'm at right now.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So, my question would be, how are you being a hunter currently and praying on your success?
Alright, well, basically, man, to keep it honest, what I'm doing right now is tough. Why? Because most people wouldn't do it. You know, the money that I make isn't based off a job with me clocking in. It's based off of me getting up each and every day and doing something different, but knowing the ultimate goal and actually, you know, praying on it.
Yeah,
and
like
me doing something that most people wouldn't do is not easy. Because if it was easy, most people would do it.
Everybody would do it.
Yeah, so that's why it's a hunt, and I'm praying on my success because I have a dream that I'm working on and working towards, and I just stopped wishing a while ago. And that's when I started wishing and started just working on it, things started to happen, and that's how I ended up. We all ended up right here.
That's very true. That's very true.
My question for you would be, what is the greatest gift you have for the world?
Greatest gift. Well, my first thought on the world is, the only problem that I feel is this, like, this world is run off of profit. So the self-doubt of one person is basically profit. Mm-hmm. You know, do drugs and this and that, you don't feel good, you do this and that.
Yeah.
And it's more or less rebellious to love yourself. So think about it. Most people, they don't live the life of doing what they want to do, going for it, and actually living to live like it's their last life. You ask somebody, oh, what's going on, man? Oh, same thing every day.
Right.
Same stuff every day.
Right.
And when they say it, you can tell just from the tonality of it, that's not how they want to live.
Exactly.
You know, so my gift through the world of me conquering my dreams and me going for it and obtaining it, and what I'm going to put out through my music and different roles that I take up in movies, you know, because I'm actually more going to pick the roles that I take because it's not based off money, because I make enough money doing the business that I've been running for the past year.
Okay.
So I actually get to do what I want, and whatever I put my craft in, I can send a message. And that message is going to be left for the world to just do what you want, do what you love to do, but it's going to take hard work. But always shoot for the stars, because even if you shoot real high and you miss, you're going to be at a great point in your life.
Right.
That's just a message right there.
So your gift would be kind of being that example that others can follow.
Yes, basically.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, because you can't, me talking about something and me actually doing it is two different things. Like my son's going to be here in the next 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when
Congratulations.
Thank you, brother. And I've been with my girlfriend for 7 years, and one thing I told her, I said, I gotta get it now. Like, I'm 23, I have to go get it right now. Why? Because I can't tell my son, hey, you can live your dreams, you can do this and you can do that, and I didn't do it. You know, I didn't get there. I've been trying, I've been working towards it, but I haven't gotten there. And kids do what you do, they don't do what you say. So if I keep saying that I'm gonna do this and I don't really get it done, he's not gonna have no choice but to be used to not following his dreams, because nobody around him actually proves to him that it can really happen.
Right.
So that's why I have to do that now.
That's beautiful, man.
And
Thank you.
to further touch on that, I've noticed a lot of times when I've had a job and just working in general, that people tend to say, hey, listen, we don't want to be here. We're just here because it's a paycheck, or if we have something better to do, we do it, or something like that. And what he's doing, he's a hunter. He exudes the hunger, the nobility, the tenacity, the relentlessness, and the strength. Because, I mean, he's going against the norm. He's saying, I wanna be that example for everybody, so that way people can look at me and say, this person is preying on their success, is chasing their dreams. I'm gonna do the same thing. So, I mean, I love it. You're not just doing it for your son, you're doing it for the world, like you said.
Yes.
You're an actor, so, I mean, appreciate it.
Yeah, so once again, I feel like that's a beautiful gift. And I feel like that's a gift that we all can give the world. You know what I mean? The example that we set. I feel like it's a beautiful answer. So now, on the hunt, hunting on your success, you're gonna come through roadblocks. You're gonna have times where you're gonna want to throw in the towel.
Yeah.
So what motivates you on your quest for overall life fulfillment?
What motivates me, to keep it simple, it would just have to be the fact of me not being like my dad, or me not living the life that my mom wanted to live, and doing something now to give them the life that they always say that they wish they had.
Gotcha.
Because right now, think about it, their time, it hasn't passed because they're still alive, but their time of youth and them going in to get it, for them, it feels like it's past.
Right.
So when I talk to my mom and she sees me going out to do scenes, and my dad sees me coming in the house late at night, but sees me doing presentations and sees me, grinding. It's like, okay, cool. After when I get this, all right, you're gonna get whatever house you want to get. You're gonna be able to do what you want to do. You don't have to go to work. Like, no, you don't need an alarm or nothing. Why? Because I know that's possible. Why do I know it's possible? Because I've seen people around me do it. People my age do it.
And if they can, why can't you? Right?
Exactly. Anything you can do anything one person can do, you can definitely do it. The only difference is your focus. Like you guys said earlier, what are you focusing on? What's really important to you?
Right.
For me, I make sure anything that I'm focusing on is gonna push me into my dream and the end result. Whether we're sitting here talking right now, having a great conversation about life, you guys are obviously people that I want to be around, and we're all gonna be successful.
Right.
As long as we just work towards it.
That's beautiful.
So, give us an example of a life experience that triggered the breaking of your limitation barrier.
A life experience. I'm gonna have to take off my glasses on that one. I'm gonna have to. A life experience. Repeat that one more time. I have a couple of them. A couple of them just came. I have a couple.
Sound like a spelling bee.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I want the right one.
So, give us an example of a life experience that triggered you breaking your limitation barrier.
All right. Well, basically it was this. I came back from school. I was in Indiana. I was at IUP.
Okay.
I came back from doing something I wasn't supposed to be doing. I ended up. When I came back, I felt like all my dreams was just crashed. Like I had this whole thing of. I had the normal idea and normal dream, like going to the hospital. I wanted to help people, so I'm like, cool. I'll go to the hospital and, I'll be a respiratory therapist. All right, cool. My mom went to school. My dad, I have to do this.
That was your major?
That was my major. My major was bachelor's degree in respiratory therapy. That was it. Junior year, something happened along the way. I couldn't finish. I might end up coming back home. When I ended up coming back home, I was in a life that I didn't want to live. Like, okay, cool. I was working, but the work was short term. I had this whole thing. The definition of long term and short term means a lot to me. So short term, no offense to anybody that's listening to this at all, but for me, short term is, you doing something for right now. So you working at a job. You don't know where it's going to go. It's just paying you right now. It's paying you good money, but it's what's happening right now. You don't know what's going to be past that. Long term is, okay, cool. You're doing something that's going to feed your kids forever. And you're going to be good forever. Something that you do one time. Why? Because a lot of people are doing that right now. Those just aren't the people that we're around, because we're around people that are used to doing the regular things. Right. So obviously they're not hunters. They don't have that sense into them, that pride of doing what they love and find out how to get paid for it, because everything works for money. Why do people go to work for money?
Right.
So people know that, but it sucks that people rather work hard for money earlier. Exactly. Like earlier, somebody was talking. They was like, all right, cool. I had looked skinny and I didn't look good, but my pocket was fat. You know what I mean? Right. And it's like, all right, cool. Your pocket was fat, but you don't look good. Like you're not feeling good. And money, you can always get money back and forth. But that time you living and you don't get that back. Like that time is already passed. Right. And that sucks. That distinction between money and actually living. People think that when you have money, you're good, no matter how you look, no matter how you feel. And that's wrong. Right. That's absolutely wrong.
So how did that situation when you came back and you felt like everything was just all your dreams were just it was just gone. And I ended up, like me, I like to fight, so I wanted to be in the UFC at this one point. So for the past 2 years I've been fighting in the ring, and I had so much anger that's what I did. And my friend called me, my friend Kalani, she called me and she said, well, I got something going on. And I don't know if this is for you or not, but you're a great guy, and I want to show you. And ever since that phone call, me meeting up with her, a year's passed till now. My life's been totally different. And that took me having to do something different for a different outcome. Me, I wanted to change, so I said, if I want to change, I can't work at this job that I'm gonna be at for forever. I have to do something different. So that's when I got into business.
and started to change my mindset. And I opened my mind, and when I opened my mind, I started to look at things differently, super differently, you know. So me right now, I'm the same person that I've been, you know, but it's just I look at things differently now. That's all it is, you know. And me, when I look at it differently, I look at it in a way that it can help me and help the people around me instead of drag us down. You know, that's about it.
So you mentioned you have a lot of big dreams and a lot of big goals.
Yes.
Which one would you say is your biggest one?
My biggest one is me wanting to fund enough money to give back in a certain way, open up my own company and build a corporation food wise to help give back to people. Like, you remember when you said you wasn't eating right,
Yeah.
It's
Very
not
malnourished.
only because it costs to eat right, you know.
Yeah,
so for me, what my dream and what I want to do, I don't want to say too much about it, but it's gonna fund people. It's gonna give people an option to eat healthy, even though you don't have that much money. And that's what I want to leave behind. And I want to leave that in all inner cities and all hoods where it's hard to actually eat right. Oh, you have cheap money, you can eat crap, you know.
Yeah,
you can eat crap, you know, like foods that's not good for you, but it ends up making you sick.
Right.
You know, so since I like to help people, I'm thinking about like, cool, I want to give people a chance to actually eat healthy, so they don't have to get sick and go to the hospital and potentially die.
Right.
You know, so they don't have to have medicine and take pills that's not good for them, because now you're taking drugs that just because it's on TV doesn't mean that's gonna cure you. It's actually gonna make you sicker. You know, so that's what
side effects be crazy.
Exactly, definitely. Like ever since I watched my mom go from diabetes to cancer off of pills, I'm like, whoa, wait. So now she was taking 6 pills for her diabetes. Then out of nowhere she got cancer, and then she started taking 12 pills. So in my mind, logically, you taking 12 pills, is that really gonna make you sicker, or is it gonna make you better? Right. Taking 6 pills didn't make you better. So what do you think taking 12 are gonna do? You know? So I just wanted to stop that in my own way. It may not catch her, but it's gonna catch the people behind me, in the next generation coming up. If I do what I, want to work on doing.
Like you said, you gotta look at it long term, and not short term.
Exactly.
I love it.
Thank you.
That's beautiful.
So what's your biggest thing when it comes to the acting part? Like I know you said earlier that you want people to understand that they control their realities, right?
Yes.
They're the master of their dreams.
Yeah.
But what's the biggest thing that you want to accomplish, you personally, your biggest goal with acting?
My biggest goal, acting wise, is this. My whole life I wanted to say my whole life I thought about acting. I thought about it. I wanted to act. But then again, I had another thought in my mind, like, what are you talking about? Who do you think you are? You're not gonna be an actor, bro. Like you're not gonna be able to act. What makes you think you can be an actor and you can actually make it on the big screen? That was another thought. You know how you got the good angel and the bad angel?
Right.
Yeah, so like I naturally wanted to do it. Like I thought it was so cool. But I never got the chance to go for it. Now I believe in the universal law. So when you think about something so much, that if you think about something so much constantly, it's gonna happen.
Right.
Why is it gonna happen? Because that's what's always in your head. So me wanting to be an actor and think that's so cool, even when I doubted myself on doing it, I still thought about it. It put me in the predicament to actually have the open schedule to go to an audition and actually get the part for it. And it happened to be a huge part. And now the chain of events that's taking place now, it all started with me, just wanting something and actually going out to get it. So now my whole thing of breaking the barriers to just let people know that whatever you want, you can actually do it. It's easy to obtain. It may not be easy, it may be hard. But if you keep doing things that's hard for you, eventually everything else will be easy. And that's my whole thing about it.
I like that.
Right.
Thank you.
That's beautiful.
Last question before we get to a very special part of this show would be, where can we find you? Can we find you in any movies?
Yeah.
Social media?
So basically, to let the people know, I have a movie coming up. It's a short film. It's called Under the Heavens, entitled. It's gonna be released January 23rd of 2016. So the name of the film is Under the Heavens. On my Instagram, you can find me Jay Weathers, JayWeathers. No underscores, no none of that. Facebook, my name on Facebook is William J. Weathers White the Third. And on my Facebook, you can see a lot of scenes and bloopers from the film, and a lot of information. Applying to the movie. You guys can see, and I will have music coming out shortly. And yeah,
A lot of stuff, man.
Yeah.
That's everything.
Thank you.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Want me to take it away with the?
You can.
All right. So on this show, kind of lighten the mood.
Yeah.
We like to have all our guests show us a special talent. Now, the reason behind this is because everybody has that thing, that secret thing that they do in the closet that nobody really know about, that they love to do, that they do on such a constant basis that sometimes the value gets taken out of it. So we want to show people that that thing that you do that makes you you is special. So what's that secret talent for you?
The secret talent would have to be me actually just rhyming, dude. Like, I just like to rhyme, and me talking about making music. I haven't been in a space to create it, but I've been in a space of me, like you said, improving my craft behind closed doors. I was just trying to catch the rain of what I'm talking about now. I finally got that range.
Right.
You know, so that's basically like what I do behind closed doors. So what, did you got me to do like a something?
Give us up, man.
Obviously, non-profanity.
Of course. All right, cool. I'll just go into it.
Just do it.
I would like to think that life is but a dream, but people, the way that they think, their fears may come in between. I mean, there's nothing hard, but there's nothing really easy. I mean, you got a dream and you don't really know what to do, so you're scared that's like a fight and he might turn your eyes black and blue, but it's never a thought. See, when you're out in the field, in the trenches, you got to build your fort. See, me, I'm never into buying whips that I can't afford, or buying purses or bags like Michael Kors for a female that don't really need it because the looks are appealing. You know, most guys, when they see a female, all they want is sexual healing. See, not me, because I've been cut for about 7 years, you know, switching 7 gears. Not that there's 7 gears, but there's only 6. You know, people lying and talking to the feds about things that they did in the streets, that might be a snitch. And what do they usually say? Snitches get stitches. I'm trying to be positive. But honestly, positivity is just me, so I don't really got to concentrate. I concentrate on my flow. Because just like in Green Light, I swear to God, this boy just glow. It's talking about that stuff I can't bring up, but it might be blow. Well, I can't blow. I don't know what I'm talking about, so I'm just going to let this whole thing go.
I like that.
You see how I want to lose it. I didn't want to lose
The Jay Weathers part.
I want to lose. That's what Jay Weathers part.
That's what Jay Weathers coming.
Thank you. I didn't want to get you, you know, I can't talk how I really want to talk.
Yeah.
But I got to keep it good, man.
Right.
So, yeah.
Appreciate it.
Once again, brother. Really appreciate you coming on to the show. Really appreciate you coming on and sharing with the viewers what you have for us all to see today.
Thank you.
And keep praying on your success. All right, brother?
I think it's a perfect time.
Yeah.
You're officially a hunter.
There we go. You see, I was on it.
All right, guys. So when we come back, we got another special treat for you guys by Shaka Ptah.
The one and only
Shaka Ptah. He has a really nice performance for us. Kid really speaks some powerful stuff. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
We'll see you.
Do you remember the saddest day in sweet November? We thought the pain would last forever. It's never as deep as you think. Don't believe what you see. They say the world's so full of war for us to scream out for peace. I need life and love. Those words are so miraculous. Now they treat the world like target practices. Imagine it. Shoot for the stars. Those words are so immaculate. And we don't have the aim, but we'll shoot and hope it's accurate. Dance in the clouds. Can we move from the crowd? Leave the past in the past. Can we live in the now? Let the future come to pass without asking it how. I scream that message to the masses. They all screaming aloud. I need life. It's everything you need it to be. Never wake up from the sweetest of dreams. I prayed up to the heavens. They sent me back an angel. I'm screaming back, thank you for believing in me. I need life.
Thank you for watching Hunters TV today. I'd like to send out a special thanks to you, the viewer, for taking time out of your day to view our content. We'd also like to thank our guest, Willie White, aka Jay Weathers, for coming in and sharing part of his life with us and his life experiences, what he's doing. We really like to touch on and wrap up the whole episode today by just giving you guys a recap on what we spoke about pertaining to breaking one's limitation barrier.
So, I mean, with that being said, just like what we talked about earlier, we all start out as a Peter Parker, but we can transform ourselves into being a Spider-Man, right? So we all have that superhero in us. So, I mean, we just hope you guys enjoyed the show and continue to be a hunter.
And pray on your success.
Thank you.